15 นาฬิกา 5 นาทีนะคะกลับเข้าสู่ NIA Virtual Studio กับดิฉันฮันนี่ชลพรรษาเนเรล่านะคะซึ่งก็ยังคงอยู่กับทุกท่านวันนี้และก็ตลอดจนวันพรุ่งนี้ในเวทีฟอรัมของเรานะคะเข้าสู่หัวข้อต่อไปค่ะในยุคนี้นะคะจากการที่เราเจอปัญหาทางด้านเศรษฐกิจของเราการฟื้นฟูสภาพเศรษฐกิจและสังคมหลังโควิดนั้นภาคประชาสังคมนะคะก็เริ่มมีการคาดหวังแล้วนะคะว่าภาครัฐจะสามารถปรับปรุงมาตรฐานของการให้บริการให้เทียบเท่ากับเอกชนอย่างไรนะคะ
Government can improve the situation to at par with the private sector. How can we use the technology to improve the technology? And we have the keynote speakers, คุณณัฐฐา พัชยุทธ the Directorate, Digital Government Promotion Directorate, Office of the Public Sector, and we also have the moderator that is Assistant Professor Dr. Thawika Kamalwet, Dean of the
สวัสดี
Faculty
ค่ะ
of
สวัสดี
Political
ทุกท่าน
Science,
ที่
Thammasat
ไม่รู้แหละอยู่ที่ไหน
University.
กันบ้างนะคะในโลกนี้ค่ะ
So, yeah,
ค่ะ
good
ขอบพระคุณ
afternoon,
มาก
no
ค่ะ
matter
ก็ส
where
วัส
you
ดีนะคะ
are.
ทุกท่าน
Okay.
จ
Good
ริงๆ
afternoon.
เมื่อสักครู่นี้เนี่ยตอน
Just
ที่
a
พิธีกร
moment
นำเข้า
ago,
เนี่ยนี่น่าสนใจมากนะคะ
when
ว่า
it was
การที่
introduced
รัฐ
into the
พยายามจะเข้าถึงประชาชนพยายามจะเข้าถึงคนทุกกลุ่มทุกประเภททุกผู้ทุกนามในศัพท์ inclusive อย่างที่เราเข้าใจกันนั้นเนี่ยจริงๆมันเป็นโจทย์ใหม่หลังโควิดจริงๆหรือเปล่าคะ
Is this
ถ้าสำหรับ
the
ดิฉัน
real
นะไม่
problems after the COVID-19? No, it is not. This is the weak point. This is the problems that had been prolonged for a long time. But the COVID-19 had made it naked to kind of to make up the problem that we have, and it will show us the vulnerability of the information that is a kind of segmentation or is, and then to feel the empathy to understand the needs of each sector, but it's not easy. So now when you know about the being empathy with all the sectors, but what you're going to solve that? So we think that GovTech, we believe that digitalization or the GovTech or a thing can answer some questions, but at the same time, the question that has been answered, would that create even more inequality in the society or not? So therefore, today we're going to talk about, so it's going to be the person who's very expert in digitalization in GovTech in order to tackle the inclusiveness that everybody, how can we bring everyone on board? So with no further ado, I would like to invite the Digital Government Promotion Directorate. So, Mr. Director, how do you think? What do you think? And about the expectation of the people? A lot of people say that if the government doesn't change, no way that we are going anywhere. Mr. Director, your microphone is yours. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Okay, you come with a long list of questions. Let me say that what we had done so far. COVID is the accelerator to mobilize, to move the things. It doesn't mean that we haven't done anything before this one. For example, the service online or online service is the one that we can escalate the service to the people that at par with the private sector for BIZ portal, the BIS portal that we had done. So right now, we have the 78 licenses in 25 business that can do online. And we have very cute functions like if you want to open the restaurant, you can go and ask what kind of license you need. Some people don't know that in order to open the restaurant, what kind you need. Do you sell alcohol? Do you have music? Do you have live music? Do you have the dancing floor? All these things. Yeah? So we had developed all these things for a certain period of time already together with the BIS portal. And now we want to, we are developing what we call the citizens portal. For the citizen portal came after the BIS portal. That is quite similar. That means to bring the Gov service to be on the app. The people can get access at 24/7, like 7-Eleven. But with all these apps, with these applications, we have one particular act or law that is a kind of instrument to push for the public sector to improve, to facilitate, and to streamline the that is the facilitation act. And this one had stipulated all the government agencies to revise, to streamline, use too many documents, too many regulations, and then each agency have to revise these every 5 years. Do they need all these regulations? Do you need all these rules? And then do you need all these licenses? And then in order, is there any way the other one besides the lessons or besides the permission? So besides this particular act, we have another two pieces of law in order to escalate the online services. One thing is the fourth version of the electronic services. And this is the first time in Thailand to have the digital ID. When you do the business online without getting out of your house, there are many factors. One, you can do the KYC, know your customer. You have, and the second one, to provide a consent, because the act on the information, in order for the government to use the private information, you have to be able to provide a consent online. And that is binding, that you had already allowed, you give the permission for the government to use, get access to your private data, and also the electronic signature. And the GISDA had already provided the e-signature will come under the three categories in terms of the intensity of the privacy and consent, identity, and also the electronic, and then payment online. Private had done this one for a long time, but for the public sector, it's quite complicated for the payment online. But now you can do the payment online and receipt online through. If you want to open the new company, you don't have to go to the business development unit. You can pay online, and the receipt will come to you online. And the other one is electronic documents. That means that when the citizens would like to do the business with the government, you don't have to carry the whole pieces, the whole file, the whole stack of documents. We try to facilitate for the citizen to upload the documents, and then all the documents. Many times, with a lot of copies, this copy, that's a lot of. In order to reduce the burden of the citizen to come up with the we call the zero copy. That means any government agencies, when as a citizen, when you want to contact with, if you need the government that was issued by the public sector, that means the government agency should go directly to that agencies. Don't put the burden on the citizens to come up with that document. If the government agencies would like to get the copy of the license, if you want to get the driver license, that particular government unit need to get it from the Land Transportation Department itself, not the burden of the citizens. Okay, we had done this one in terms of what we call the linkage center at the government center. So that means each agency can get access to the government documents. It's not complete yet because we just recently started. Besides the linkage center, we have the GDS in order to link linkage center with the central unit of the government. Besides this one about the digital IDs, we have another piece of law about the good governance in running the government business. The number one, because the government business, we should have the online, all the agencies, no exemption, should have the online interaction. And the second one, all the agencies, the government will not be silo anymore. It will be linked altogether, like the employment department can link to that. So how many students graduated from these particular provinces in what area, and this one we can link all the data together, and that can serve to the needs of the citizens more, and this will lead to the open data and big data finally. Of course, to do this one is not an easy thing to do. In order to share the information, in order to share those and seamless linkages, we're going to have to do the things that you had just said, that we need to digitize the government data. So the paper documents will transform into the digital information. Doesn't mean that to scan as a PDF and get, but it has to be really digitalized documents. Once they are in a digital form, we will adjust the way we work on the back office that we do now. It causes a delay. We need to speed up by using the technology to speed up our 20 days, we should reduce down to 5 days in something to register in business. Okay, instead of like 10 days or 2 weeks, it will come down to 1.5 days. These are some examples. If I made a mistake, please excuse me for this one. But there are many problems that we need to solve the problem step by step. And digital transformation of the private sector doesn't mean that they succeed, all of them. Some of them fail, some of them succeed. But the public sector is even more humongous than the private sector. But if you want to move the 26 ministries in the public sector all together at the same pace, it's not easy to do. Right now, whether in some the DE or even many agencies, we are try to have the agreement to set up what we call the common ground, where we can have the common IT architecture. And then we need to have the data strategy, we need to have the data governance, and all these things we need to have, and we have to have the good one in order to share and also to digitize the information, and also to link all this data, so the data can be used in terms of to analyze and can be used. So this is the preliminary, otherwise I talk and then you cannot, if you have the questions, you can ask me. Yeah, I'm about to ask you that. Okay, without listening someone for a long time, then it's not fun, huh? So I have seen Mr. Director talk so many times about to link the data together in the government sectors. This questions has been raised quite very often. We know that to link or to share the data is very difficult, and you as a director, so if you can say that, when you say that difficult, the most difficult in order to link all the data, what is the most difficult things? Okay, two is the willingness of each agency to share, and the second one is the privacy of the data, because many information or data that we have is the private of the citizens' data. So when you have the private data, do you really need to use that private data? That is the second one. Okay, the first one is the willingness of each agency. We had been working in silo for a long time, and each division, each unit, they have their own territory, they have their own rules and laws to follow. So in order to knock down all the walls and the silos, not only in the public sector, in the private sector, they also have this. If you look at the McKinsey articles about to do the digital transformation, each department doesn't move at the same pace. They go in a different way. They have a different direction. So these are the things. When you try to knock down the walls, you change the mindsets to solve the problems, to amend the laws, to share the information with nobody being arrested. So if you are waiting for the willingness of the people to do so, it will not happen. It will not. So you wait. How many days since I was in the bachelor degree students, we have the siloism. and we had the problems about fragmentation, and we had the problems that the people, okay, people know that this one, the established the budget, the IT equipment budgeting, okay, because each one working in silo. So suddenly you will say that, okay, you are waiting for the willingness, you are waiting, okay, if you're talking like this 10 years from now, we are still here. So probably we are at death before, we die before we go that part. So wait. Let me continue a little bit more, because you said that they don't want to share, no willingness. We are not waiting. We are not waiting. We are going to mandate them to do so. So when about the good governance in terms of running the country, it has stipulated, right, all agencies, government agencies need to share the information. Second one, to have the online services, and then the second one is to share. If nobody do it, do not follow this, that is against the law, and we need to set up the data governance structure. This one is in the process of doing so, but for us the data, and I think that we will see the output in couple months, like the data catalog. Next month it will come. The standard for digital ID will come out soon. Please be a little bit patient. We have the legal mechanism that can bring all this thing out. No, we have this one. Okay, this one, the latest one, it's not the is not the first act, because it's not stipulated about these two things that I just saw. But this one just came out recently. Now, if you're talking about willingness of the sharing of the data, it should not be an obstacle. Yes, from now on. From now on, it will not be a big obstacles anymore after we have this piece of law to promulgate it, that promulgated this law. So we look into that each unit, how do they keep the data? Because in the old time, they work in silo. But from now on, when we have the central unit and when we have the harmonizations between all these agencies to bring all these things that can link the database all together, we can see, not too long, we'll see the, we have the website, I cannot forget, I cannot remember, just a couple of months, we have 600,000 users get access to that website. So we started to see the citizen, the people get that kind of information. So in order to have the data structure or whatever you want to do, which one comes first about these things, but to link all this data, you need to have the intention of using that and using and sync them for art. So each one, like the way you said, each one have their work in silo. How can you sync all the data on the same base? It's not just a matter to top up the data up in the mind somewhere, but it's the arrangement to set up the public issues, to set up the public or the prioritize which one will come first, which one will finish in 3 years, 5 years. Even the national strategies, we have 20 years, right? So do you rank all these things or prioritize them? Yes, we do. All the related agencies we set up, there are 5 aspects of auditing. The first one about education. We need to link all the education data in order to with the to link the graduates and also the college students with the uh, employment market. The second one, to manage about the crisis, about like the pandemic, but after the pandemic past one, to have the data linkages is a good thing. Like you got sick in Chiang Mai, but your medical records is in Bangkok. You can bring your medical records from Rama Hospital up to Chiang Mai. So the doctors in Chiang Mai will not be breaking the law because he could get access to your private medical record. Okay, the third one is about the welfare information of the maybe of the handicap of those people who are less fortunate, and how to give the remedy to the people, and what are the problems where each area, each location, each places, they have a different unique problems. Maybe they are poor, but the reasons of being poor, they come from different reasons. And the next one is about the agriculture, about the rainfalls, about precipitation, about the source of water, and the important thing, how can we make the small farmers to receive the digital transformation? Because the word that we say, digital divide, those who know, those who has knowledge, and the countries has more advanced in this one, they will go in leap and bound. But those people who have low digital literacy, even though they can get access, they use it for social, use for game. So this is the division, this is the digital divide at this gap. We want the technology to come back and use all these to give the benefits to the farmers. Don't quote me on this one. This is a talk. It's just a talk. It's not the resolution. It's not the agreement among everybody. Okay, don't quote me on this one. That's okay. That's okay. That is the private opinion. If you're waiting, there will never be a agreement on this one. It's great to see that you see the priorities on these things. I questioned this one for a long time about the big data, and I don't see the priority. How do you prioritize the big data? And for you, Mr. Director, I'm glad to hear that. So now let's see that we are talking personally. Okay, personal opinion is not a government opinion. Okay, let me talk you because they're okay. Come back from the very beginning. Okay. They're like we are talking two of us here. The government may want to bring our conversation to be the public conversation. What you have just talked is a very interesting. Sometimes when we want to be smart, we said the smart, okay, when you use GovTech, you use digitalization, you use technology, it will lead us to another world, even though we try to decide into our livelihood. But finally, frankly speaking, okay, because it's not me who gonna talk long, it's you. Because as one of the citizens, whether in terms of vulnerability as a small farmer, or if you have the low literacy that you were not careful enough, or about a group of people who are afraid of using all these gadgets, all these things, and then make them, even though we want to include them, but they are afraid to be included. So how much you concerned about this? And is there any way that you think to let them feel? Okay. I had heard Ajahn Chachat mention. Ajahn Chachat Sithipan said that sometimes when we talk about smart city, smart community, just smart should be enough. Don't be too smart, because the people will be too scared and then it will not be put into practice. What do you think? It's true. It's true. Because when you design the system, let me go step by step. Number one, to get access to the technology, it has to come with to know how to use that technology. So the agencies or the mystery that how can we escalate the digital literacy to all the age groups, from young children to the senior, to let them know with conscious, let them use how to learn, let them use into. And the second one is afraid, or is a mindset. We know, we understand. Okay, afraid come in many dimensions. Some people don't have trust in public sector. People don't use prompt pay because they're afraid that, oh, the government will check that how much money we use. Because the money that we use each month is more than the earning that we earn each month, or how much we have to pay tax. And the sixth one, the private sector would be secure in the hands of the government. Some people may hack. So the public trust and the security or hacking, that is another level of trust that people don't have. And some generations, they don't use the technology. They believe in paper. Not recently, not too long ago, there is one agency that they have the app by using, okay, I'm not going to mention the name, the card that everybody have to put into, you don't need to carry this card anymore. Some officers in one agency don't accept that. They want to see that card, not like the old way that we have. So the people said that, oh, there's no need to use it. It's useless. And the next one is familiarity and use to. So when you go to the restaurant, you said, buy, okay, the license, this, the purpose. Once everything like this disappear, people are afraid that if the inspector come, should we open the mobile phone or the com and let them see, yeah, I have the license to do. Would they believe that? So if we want to solve this from the public trust, we need to build up the public trust in every generations that we need to do. We have to do the overhaul this thing. Yeah, this is an important issue. Yes, Ajahn. Trust is a big thing. I'm glad to hear that you mentioned about this trust. Okay, just a joke about Thai Chana. Okay, you have the it on your hands about the Thai Chana program. Okay, I see the smile on your face when we mention about Thai Chana. When you see me, you probably have a difficulties in your mind. Thai Chana somehow interfere with our privacy. Okay, you see, when I go to the shopping mall, and then sometimes people concerned or afraid that would this be the weak point, that many times that when we do something, the things that we had done turn out to be the residual, and it has a kind of, okay, it's difficult to build trust. And then we have, when the government decided to do something with a good intention, but it turns out to be something that not according to the intent of the government, we have the empathy really about these things. So to build trust, you have to earn, you have to accumulate. What are the mechanisms to build trust? Okay, through education institutions, or this is one of the being inclusive. It's to make every one of us can use these modern things, all the gadgets in your livelihood, in your daily life. Well, the children will go back to their parents. The parents trust their children, and they have the learning together. Can we use that methodology? Or you are giving the thing that's had no answer, huh? I'm afraid that there are many things that we need to build up at the same time. The Thai Chana, people make a jokes out of it in the social medias, like when men would go back to the place where they need the privacy, they want to like they need to check in. They feel that it's not safe in their own lives. So all these things, I have no answer for this one. Trust is difficult. You need to accumulate. You have to earn. You have to, after you use the government services, it doesn't come out as something to haunt you afterward. Some people, okay, well, there's one case that the government, that the information leaked out, the trust that we had built for so many years are kind of collapsed. Education institution is one important thing that can provide the trust in terms of using technology in daily life, and the family institution is another one. Yeah, right now I don't know. I don't know really, because it takes time. I led you to this point because as a moderator, I try to link to the talk to the topic that we are dealing with now. I myself believe that in the experimental space, that is one, because this is an innovation office, NIA. When we talk about, okay, the trust that we can earn, I believe that, okay, the trust can come out with good people, the trust can out with consciousness. Okay, you put it somewhere else. I don't want to talk about that one. So if all the mechanism or the instruments you have is try to show the public sector, like to set up the space, pick up an issue to show that by providing, by obtaining the information or sharing information that is information that is not the MOU, not like that one. We have open space to try all this one, to have the transactions as a pilot program to create trust. Maybe the first priority that personally, Mr. Director, is about to match up the number of the graduates with the local area, with their place, about the need of the labor in the market, and maybe the project that you have the Ministry of Higher Education have the program for this one. Can you choose one subject and have an open space for the experiments, like a sandbox, like a sandbox? Can Would that help to create trust, and then we can see the result, the positive things of the digitalized sandbox is not the new thing in government, in Thai government. The commercial banks have tried by using the digital ID in the sandbox of the Bank of Thailand. If you used to have the identifications with the commercial banks and you want to open the account with another bank, you can use the identification proof in the previous bank to another bank without going. You can do it on the mobile with the facial recognition or the documents that you have under the rules, under the supervision of the Bank of Thailand. So this sandbox, maybe just a personal account, you try to see, is there any leakages? Is there any damage? If it's secure, the system is secure, trust, and then because you need to monitor this kind of system, and that will lead to apply for the loan online, to make the commercial banks, if the results of the BOT had a good result, we can have the commercial banks to be an identity provider for the people in order to get access to the government sectors. And in that commercial banks, we have, okay, some people have more than 10 accounts. Besides the sandbox in the digital IDs, we have sandboxes in many aspects. We open to the ideas about the sandbox. At the same time, the Mr. Ministers, we said they don't want the sandbox. Do it. Let's do it. Roll. Let's roll. Because whatever you have, whatever problem, then we can solve step by step. Because if it's in the sandbox, it's still in the sand, it's in the box. Okay, when you see the problem, you have to start it over again. So there are things. But personally, yeah, sandbox scheme is useful. I have 3 minutes left. The last question. This is a very cruel question for you, Mr. Director. From what I have heard, all these things, and this may not be fair for you. We are talking about technology, digitalize, play with the data to get to the process, get to the transaction, get to the public service. I'm bored on that. What is the opportunity for the small people homeless, the street vendors, or even the people who use the manual labor will have an opportunity to tell what they need, would have the things that they need, and they will receive by using GovTech, or that all the shared data will have the benefits for these lay people. What is the opportunity for that? This one we had done already. We called it application DOPA, that is Department of Public Administration, provincial administration. Okay, we have, because the land that you have, is it still there? And is the private data that you have, that in the hands of the government, any correct, any mistakes on that, and they still have the plan. Who use your private data on what for what? and then you will feel more secure that your private data in the hands of the government will not be used in somewhere that you are not aware of. This thing already happened. And after that, we try to scale up that we want to make the people in the remote area have the good content in that can make use in whether education, whether get access to the data that make their livelihood better. But the second one, this is still a scheme that we are trying to push. Yes, okay, this is a personal idea. One more time. Okay, I need to give you 3 hours, not the 30 minutes. And one thing that would, at least I support you, Mr. Director. 40 minutes, I have more hope. I have from the thing that I said, big data and digitalization and big data of our government. It's very frustrated with no intention. But for you, from look at you, okay, I feel that I believe that you will do it, and I believe that Thai citizens will have the hope to make use of this data, will make use of this system, and from the attempt by using the GovTech digitalization, all these attempts, all these try to answer to the questions that we have. Everybody, I would say inclusive, everybody. And I hope that we can talk like this in the future. Thank you. About 3 hours. Okay. Next time, come back to the Thammasat University. Okay. Next time you come to my office. Okay. Thank you.